What is the most disgusting secret you're hiding right now? When my sister and I were little, she would lick her cat because she thought she was helping to clean him. When I was younger, I would steal coins from my parents, and when I had enough, I would bring them to my dad and have them changed to paper bills, and he would be so proud of me for saving coins that he would buy me ice cream or sweetbread. As a student with a shitty waitering job paying me almost nothing, I used to eat the food my customers didn't want after I took their plates to the kitchen. We had a candy corn counting contest in like 4th or 5th grade where you guess how many are in the big jar. When no one was looking, I carefully took the tape off the top thinking I was going to count them all or something, and saw that they had written the total on the inside of the top, so, being a genius, I took out about 30 of them, ate the evidence, and put my guess in for the number -35, yeah no, so it wouldn't be suspicious if I got it on the nose, not realizing they weren't going to recount them. The winner guessed it within 20 of the number on the bottom of the lid, so basically, I cheated, sabotaged, and still lost, and I kept all that stupidity to myself for all these years. My younger brother used to eat the dog food because he thought it would make him better friends with the dog. We began to leave a bowl out for him next to the dog bowl. I made up a person. When I was in high school, I wanted to sound more popular, so I made up a guy friend. He had an incredibly interesting backstory. This went on for years. Well into college, I had the same friends, so I couldn't just end the charade. The funny thing is, all of these people, my family, my best friend, even my husband, believe that they met this man. I never introduced them to anyone, but over the years, they all have different memories of seeing him. Finally, I just sort of phased him out, saying that we grew apart and lost touch. And yet, people will randomly ask me for updates on him. I just give vague answers and watch my husband smirk from across the room. My husband is the only person who knows the truth. I am so ashamed that I will never admit it. That lie was such a dumb thing that snowballed. Uncle confided in me that he stopped taking the medications that are keeping him alive because he can't handle the weight of his life. Currently trying to be there for him as much as I can, but haven't told anyone because I feel like it's his choice, and I'd likely want the same in his situation. He's just worn out and feels like he's done his time, and has already done what he can for the people around him. In biology class, we were dissecting a pig's eyeball, and my hand slipped and the eyeball fell on the floor, and me being extremely lazy, I kicked it under a cabinet and it lay there for 2 years until someone finally found it. That I hit some kid in the back of a trampoline park with a chain I grabbed off of a fence because he kept poking me. I secretly broke a 2,500 euros printer. That is rare and precious. I just fixed it just enough that the second person using it got blamed for this and almost expelled from school. I got nudes from my best friend's mom. That last year when I was suspended from work for 6 months, it was due a failed post-accident drug test. I wasn't laid off. My one friend has no idea that I've known that he doesn't have kids for months. Also that I know he's been saying this and lying to everyone for attention. He tells a very convincing story. He goes into vague details, has a photo of the girl, says that she's been showing him fake paperwork as proof for the children. If what he says is true, would be literally extortion. Everything. Little does he know that I've been watching closely and also researching to find this woman. I know she isn't real and that he's lying and been lying this whole time for almost a year. Nothing he says makes sense and it just keeps escalating, which also doesn't make sense. I literally couldn't help myself but investigate. If everyone finds out that he's been lying this whole time, it will spread like wildfire. He doesn't have many friends and the friends he did have stopped talking to him because of his compulsive lying. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. I'll try to get to as many comments as possible. I once found a chocolate bar in a trash can when I was waiting at the bus stop. I ate it. A buddy of mine had a wife that used to be a stripper. She ended up leaving him for one of her patrons. Before she left him, she was impregnated by him, my buddy. She ended up marrying the guy she left him for, and the newish dad is basically raising his kid. I'm still friends with both of them on Facebook since I was cool with both of them, and her son definitely looks like him. This was maybe 7-8 years ago. I just shut the duck up about the whole situation. As a teenager, I was abroad with my class. I shared a room with 2 other girls. One morning I went to the toilet and take a dump. I was shocked as I saw that the toilet flushing was not strong enough to wash it away. I panicked. So I grabbed it with toilet paper, wrapped it around and threw it as far as I could out of the window. Edit. Oh thank you. You Taco Panda 15. My first award ever. May your poop never clog your toilet. I'm in a lot of debt and it's potentially going to ruin my relationship. During lockdown my sister had a meltdown because she thought I had stolen a pair of nail clippers shaped like a foot that she owned. I told her, truthfully, that I also had a pair and that she had stolen mine. They actually were hers. I found mine an hour later. Rather than tell her, I gave back hers and said if they mean so much to you you can have them. I then hid mine in her bag when she went back home after lockdown. She got there and found the 2 nail clippers and now believes that she was wrong and that the nail clippers she had a meltdown over were actually mine. I loved ketchup so much as a kid that I used to have it with cereal sometimes. I used to lie, like a lot. I used to make up stories to tell people, just for the sake of it. I don't do it anymore, although this leads me to telling the same stories over and over. A majority of the time, the voice in my head first thoughts are just really unnecessarily mean towards myself, but especially others, even those I care about, extremely nitpicky, selfish, rude, etc. Thoughts, I don't understand why. Sometimes it leaks out into the real world on its really bad days, and I'm just an ass. It makes me feel pretty bad about who I am as a person sometimes, because I really just want to be a lovely person and think the best about others, and I don't feel like a good one very often because of these thoughts. I guess maybe OP meant nasty equals disgusting, but it feels disgusting to me some days. Edit. I truly appreciate everyone's suggestions and information, thank you very much. One time I spit my gum into a donation box for kids with autism thinking it was a trash can. My friend's girlfriend is having serious doubt about their relationship and she's telling everyone but him. My dad's affair with a man roughly my age. My childhood with my parents was traumatic and physically abusive enough. I'm too detached to tell my mom or siblings. Also, if you're expecting a text from the hot young stud you plan to bone, maybe don't leave your phone on the restaurant table while you go to the bathroom. Edit. The gay part isn't disgusting. The being a lying moral, Bible thumping sack of it is. I drew a massive D on the ceiling in my art classroom, probably a meter long, and it's been there for years. I asked friends who have brothers and sisters there and they say it's still there. It's been like 8 years now. When I was about 5 I used to prefer cat food to normal food. Now I can't stand the taste. One of my friends has nudes of our mutual friend's mom. Ducking hell, he doesn't know it. He video calls her at night. I dropped a bun in the self-service area of a convenience store. I didn't pay for it. I just kicked it under the shelf and left. When I was 10, I used to dance nude in the balcony after a bath just to piss off my mom. I walk around naked all the time. I hide it with my clothes. When my sister was younger, probably around 2-4 age range, whenever she did something I asked her to do, I gave her a dog bone as a reward. She never listened when we were younger, but as soon as I started giving her dog bones she was a different person. It was great. This was almost 20 years ago now, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for my meddling mom asking why her breath smelled like dog food randomly. Careful everyone. OP is tugging it. My cousin used to make me sick his D when I was 7. My room is a mess and I, an adult, treat myself as an abandoned child I once was, and I hate it. It's like a prison to never escape. I wanted to stay around for my pet who was my only family, but he died in July. Outside I'm inspiration porn for many kinds of assault related mental illness, but I'm really a ducking rotten shell of a human who is not even living a life. That McDonald's medium fries are the same as large, UK. I make up secrets and post them on Reddit. My mental health is currently driving me crazy. I'm not sure why I can't just get better. I'm in therapy. I'm studying for my bachelor's in psych and I'm generally knowledgeable about mental illnesses. Yet I still can't seem to get myself on the right track. I've been hitting myself lately when I'm angry or anxious for stress relief. I was sitting in the car the other day just thinking and envisioned myself banging my head on the window over and over till it was bloody and broken. I don't know why. I'm only diagnosed with anxiety. I haven't told my therapist and I don't want to. I always have this fear that no one will believe me or they'll think I'm faking. I've just been keeping it to myself and hoping my new prescription will help my anxiety and in turn make these feelings go away. I commission a lot of extremely gay art of my fictional dragon I created just so I can please myself to it. When I was in middle school I was being bullied physically and mentally. Quite bad. My grades dropped and my mom got upset, so there was this period of fighting before we got into therapy together. The worst thing I've ever said to my mother was I wish I had been a miscarriage like my older brother. Mom and I are very close now and I'm back in therapy for different issues. I need to be spending my time applying for jobs after I got laid off in April. But it's so overwhelmingly hopeless that I can't make myself do it. My field is collapsing in on itself and I'm being sent rejection letters from retail jobs. I've been telling people about all the jobs I'm applying for but really I'm just not. I logged in my BF's Telegram ACC from my device and found he was dating me and other girls at the same time. Still reading his chats. Go to log out and leave him but I can't. If I had the balls and the means to do it, I'd kill myself. One morning I couldn't be bothered making my breakfast and a coffee, so I added instant coffee to my cereal, mixed it into the milk and ate coffee cereal. That I am sat in my office at work, surrounded by a team of socially distanced staff, and I've just shouted, update, managed to crack a window, and spin conference calls out long enough for everyone to go home. It's time go home and shower, then burn this suit. Thanks for the concern. It's been dark today. My dad's probably cheating on me, mum. In primary school, elementary, me and my friends saw water dripping from the rooftop on the playground. Without thinking, we let it drop into our mouths and drink it. Giggling and excited we'd found our own water source. A teacher caught us and we had to be checked out because it turned out the water was coming from a pipe or something that rats had ran through. I was going to kill myself about 2 years ago, but would up making a deal with myself that I would wait until I was 17. And if I still felt that way I would do it. I turned 17 in a month, and my mental health is so much worse. I'm the person I thought I wanted to be, but I still hate myself. My second oldest brother is the result of abuse and the rapist was my biological grandfather. My vegan cousin just celebrated her 5th year of veganism for moral reasons. 2 Christmases ago I was in charge of putting together vegan postle for her and I put chicken bouillon in it on accident and I'm gonna carry that secret with me forever. I once got invited to a Maori of an even bigger Maori mate party. Just picture a scene from Once Were Warriors movie. I ended up going alone and meeting everyone there. Could hear the music and noise from a block away. As I arrived I could hear them all in the backyard with a drum fire roaring. I proceeded through the open front door of the house unnoticed, drinking a big bottle of beer and busting for a piss while trying to find my way out to the backyard of this small house. I ended up spotting the only toilet in the house. Being half drunk already I ended up sitting my bottle of beer on the top of the toilet tank to undo my zip to piss. Then I see my bottle slide off straight into the toilet. The glass bottle exploded like a grenade and broke a big hole in the white porcelain and water went everywhere. In a moment of panic I knew that would be worthy of a backyard beating. I did the only thing a scared white boy would do, run out the door hoping I was still unnoticed and text my mate to say I'm having a quiet night at home. My friend's kid eats PB plus J with ranch. I'm thinking of calling CPS. I pulled off an all-nighter playing Call of Duty and went to college the next day. Needless to say I was so exhausted and sleepy. While riding back from college I fell asleep on my moped and crashed into a bush. Luckily I didn't hit another vehicle or get hurt. I didn't tell anyone this because I was too embarrassed. P.S. If you ever feel sleepy while riding a vehicle, please call someone to pick you up or take a cab. Let my mistake be a lesson for everyone. Oh god. I'm about to sound like a creep bucket. A few years back when I worked in retail, I helped a young mom fit a tiny child for indoor soccer shoes. To preface, she was wearing a tight, short dress that just barely covered the essentials. My 18-year-old self was doing everything not to look, but between her legs and her nipples poking through her top, all I could think was, man, duck this. It also didn't help that she was flirting up a storm. Finally, as if it could not get any more difficult to fight my hormones, she does that sort of close-legged squat that women do when they wear dresses, to talk to her son and ask him how his shoes are fitting. But there was just enough space to see between her legs. Bright green panties. As soon as I wrapped up with her, I booked it to the washroom and jerked off. And to this day, I maintain the lie that I've never jerked off at work. But on that day I sinned like a Methodika. God hates me. Edit. I am not religious. A girl from my school needed glasses after she got a snowball in her eye. The snowball came flying from the other side of the building, across the roof, and hit her in the eye. This is 15 years ago. No one knows who threw that snowball. The shame. I'm in a meeting with a large defense contractor wearing absolutely nothing. I love working from home. I was running late one day when I worked in a restaurant, so when I got there I started cooking right away. I realized after sending a couple orders out that I forgot to wash my hands. The reason I was late was because I was having 60 times with a girl before work and lost track of time. The amount of poop I have to deal with right now. I've talked about it on Reddit, but I'm hiding it from family. My son is in the middle of months of potty training and has realized that having poop in his diaper makes him uncomfortable. He's super independent, so instead of alerting us he just takes it out. We've been working on it, and then we think we're past it, and then we go to get him from a nap and there's poop everywhere. I can't wait until he's fully potty trained. I dropped a human brain once in prep class and put it back like nothing happened, and everyone was wondering what kind of head trauma that person died of. Edit. Holy it. I didn't know I could make so many people laugh. Thank you for all the upvotes and awards. That is really not necessary. I figured I add the specifics here quickly, because I am a little overwhelmed with responding to so many comments. I was a TA, teaching assistant, to the professor for human anatomy and preparatory class. Part of my job, I studied biology and am a trained preparator turned mortician and am specialized in reconstruction, was to prepare donor bodies for upcoming classes. I would receive specific orders from the professor. What kind of grossing tables? Which body part? What kind of class, etc. I am not a MD or even thought about being one. I'm just a basement dweller that makes a living off death, and I am grateful to do so. My senior prom was in 2010. After prom I had a party at my parents' cabin just outside of town. Later that night I found my boyfriend having sex in my car with my volleyball co-captain. I didn't confront them but instead went to his car, which was only 2 or 3 weeks old, and took it in the passenger seat. I wiped with some napkins he had in the glove box and put them in his cup holders. I went back inside and kept drinking. I don't trust my partner with money. I've been tracking how much he spends on weed per month and it's a lot. I don't know how to bring it up because we are saving for a hoot, but 95% of everything we have so far is from me, while he spends $500 a month on weed. One time, when I was like 9 or 10, I had to go to the bathroom really badly while my family and I were at a hotel pool. I didn't make it in time, so I sat on the pavement and just it on the pavement, in my swimsuit. When no one was around I snuck to the bathroom and tried to clean it up the best I could. Never told anyone about that lol. Edit. Lol, I'm not talking solid poop. I'm talking about full liquid it. Literally. Think I might be developing a psychotic disorder and have zero clue what to do. Accidentally stole a packet of Welch's gummies once. It was at this walk thingy at my brother's elementary school. I was 11 or so and I thought they were just handing them out to everyone who attended the walk. I occasionally went to a convenience store when I was a kid to buy some stuff that my parents ordered me to get for home. They almost never gave me allowance at the time, so there was that brand of Jello candy which was in a wrapper. I'd open it a little and take from the candy every time I visit that store. One time, I got caught and a worker there accused me of stealing, and when he searched my pockets, he found nothing. Although I was storing some in the same pockets that he had searched. It was a close call. My younger sister was with me at the time. I felt disgusted from myself back at the time, and since then, I never stole anything under any circumstances. My brother forced me to do horrible things like put his D in my ass when he was 13 and I was 7 and I still am traumatized, plus he keeps bringing it up like teasing me. My brother is a disgusting human being. I spent money on Boom Beach, that itty mobile game. This isn't a story about a disgusting person, but it involves a disgusting smell. In college, a friend of mine wasn't prepared for an exam. Instead of studying, cramming, or risking failure, he bought a bulk package of stink bombs that smelled incredibly foul, mostly like sulfur or rotten eggs. In the hour leading up to the exam, he took said stink bombs and dropped 2 in every bathroom, 1 in each elevator, the stairwells in the building, trash cans in the hallways, anywhere he could think to stash these things. The university closed down the building for days because they thought there was a serious gas leak, and he got an extra week to prepare for his exam. I'm pretty sure he still failed. Edit. Obviously sworn to secrecy because he would have been expelled had he been caught. I tried to smoke a cigarette with my ass. A friend helped me put it there. It didn't work. I'm just going through the motions of life until I die. I have no aspirations. Lol, I'm pretty sure I'm not depressed. I'm just VVV lazy. Hi for the concern to whomever reached out to Reddit support. I got their message 6 hours ago. When I was 15, my dad sat me down and told me the true story of why my parents divorced when I was a kid. My brother and I had lived with my mom, so we only heard her story. Dad was an awful alcoholic and she decided to leave. The true story was that, yes, my dad was an alcoholic and he and my mom weren't compatible in any way. He threw himself into working, and my mom began an affair with my uncle's neighbor. My dad caught them and filed for divorce and then got sober. 12 years later, only my dad and I know the true story. We both knew that my brother wouldn't be able to handle knowing the full story because he has some deep-rooted emotional issues. My mom doesn't know that I know either. It took a few years and therapy, but I forgave her.